All right, it is 9:01 a.m. And as you will see on October 1st, 2021, at the exact same time, I'm in the city of Upland and I am capturing the pattern of conduct, just like I spoke to. You're looking at what is impossible, that the sun would be rising in alignment to my apartment. And as I'm at 1806 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 6 on the third floor, facing the hillside, also mindful of the fact that that same apartment is where I'm looking at what is supposed to be the sunset. Yeah, that's not the natural environment. That's not the sun, hence the term light source, indicative of what is a pattern of conduct. In this specific environment, we're also looking at engineered light, which is an entirely distinct and separate method of what is surrounding in the specific environment. And you know this because you've seen the engineered light that is occurring apart from the presence of the light source, okay? Refer to all the wealth of documentation you've seen on the grounds of the property here at Alvarado Gardens, what you saw inside of the UPS store, when I went to Glendale, taken by third-party group stalker Uber, that flashing light moving dynamically inside of the UPS store. That's not sunlight. That's a pattern of conduct occurring amongst the people of the state. It is indiscriminate. Group stalking is occurring amongst the entity, nameless, faceless, but you're capable of what is prosecuting. You're going to prosecute the whole state. And you're going to prosecute the state of California for acting in concert with the people of the state, subjecting you to such terrorism. And with regard to that specific environment, on the same day, and I'm referencing October 1st, where I'm showing you the sunrise over 630 North Fern, where the entity is keeping that environment over me while I'm sleeping in a vehicle, okay? And when that vehicle is in motion, you see that light source remain in alignment with me, street for street, turn for turn. That's speaking to the identity of the person operating that vehicle. It speaks to the identity of all of those whom surround. And any third-party facilitating venue where the people of the state live, work, are visiting, are present, filling up for gas, okay? That's what I mean for work, any place of business. It's an ongoing system of state surveillance where that literally the environment follows you for that systematic engagement in that criminal system, okay? It's systematic maintenance of presence in the path while the entity surrounds you with an environment. And you're just supposed to remain ignorant of that environment. And in addition to that, even if the ordinary target individual becomes aware of the pattern of conduct is such that you are to be falsely and unjustly depicted as suffering from some mental incapacity. Group stalking, gang stalking, if you just do any sort of ordinary search on the internet, first of all, there's no case law for it. That's not by mistake. It's the government that's doing it. It's a matter of public corruption. In addition, the pattern of conduct is such that it is designed to conceal itself from exposure. And so you're looking at what is the ongoing terrorism as you're witnessing me expose and prosecute. And the federal prosecution is going to respond to that level of malice by government. But I want to speak to, I'm picking 9:01 a.m. where you know exactly where I'm at. I am inside of my office at 1810 North Alvarado Street. This is prosecution of the people of the state. Now, as for right now, the people of the state that live at the facilitating venue where I'm subject to the pattern of conduct, they are all going to federal prison. And this is because you are learning of the gross criminal activity that the people of the state living at the facilitating venue are engaged in on a 24-hour basis in concert with the state that is engaged in 24-hour surveillance in a helicopter. As unfathomable, as outrageous, as demented as that is, it is the pattern of conduct that LAPD is acting in conformity to. And at 9:01 a.m., I'm inside of my leasing office at, again, 1810 North Alvarado Street. And I'm facing the hillside, and the entity keeps this light source here into the evening. Okay, you're talking about 10 hours later, where the entity is aiming engineer light into my apartment as though that's sunlight. All of this is obvious, okay? This is obvious with regard to when I'm pointing out that which you haven't been paying attention to. What all I have to do is focus your attention on it, and you clearly see, and we can all reason together that it is what is supernatural, what is abnormal, unnatural, and that is what is denoting the pattern of conduct. Presence in that environment is achieving the criminal system on behalf of the state. So at 9:01 a.m., I am capturing the pattern of conduct while I'm standing outside of the Upland Public Library, the same Upland Public Library where I'm inside, and you're looking at the light source that's at that same address. Molly Super and the parking lot area. I'm just standing outside of the Upland Public Library at 9:01 on October 1st during daylight savings time. So the exact same time. This is not the sun. This is not the natural environment. Not sharing the same sky space. Okay, the demons on the hillside are pacing under all around in relevant position to my apartment in Los Angeles, which is not going to be seen anywhere over the Upland, next to the Upland Public Library in the city of Upland, nowhere. Okay, it remains here, and you know it remains here all day long, literally from here to here when I get off of work, and then it's moving to be in alignment to my apartment window after 5 p.m. The entity is maintaining this light source while I am in the city of Upland, because the city of Upland, just like the city of Los Angeles, which is what the state of California is practicing, federal group stalking and monitoring is demonic activity, and it is being practiced by government, and it is a prosecution for terrorism and state surveillance by the state of California in concert with the people. The government has no warrant for Mion Clemens to maintain criminal presence in my path, which is achieving what is relevant positioning and also light activity. And literally my voice is the audible activity. All of an entity is monitoring right now. And you also know this through the maintenance of this very specific environment, which is highly unnatural and terrorizing even in its occurrence, and the maintenance of it. The level of malice that is inherent to the pattern of conduct is terrorizing as well. The entity's maintenance of the light source, which you also saw, what I wrote those names down on that post-it, because the phenomenon of what is crossing path, that's what group stalking is, crossing the path. This is somebody walking by you, somebody driving by you, somebody flying by you or over you. This is what it is. It's group stalking. They're doing it in the specific environment, doing so in the sunlight while you're moved. This is light activity while you move around in the engineered light. The entity is doing so in vehicles, and you're looking at the phenomenon while the Upland Police Department demonstrating demon possession, engaging in the exact same phenomenon while they're using a vehicle, while the light source is in its zenith over my head, which is impossible while I'm here at 9:01 a.m. and while I've documented my presence in an entirely different region, Upland, California, the Upland Public Library, and the light source is right here over in the same manner, over me in Upland, and you're looking at what is moving all across the ground, which is impossible. Sunlight does not ricochet, does not engage in what is swiping all across surfaces, but you've seen that before. And that's the significance of all of those names that I wrote down on the post-it. This is what is tethering together. This is what ties together. This is the identification of a system. This is what is group stalking. It's the elements of monitoring underway. And it's exactly what you saw LA County. That's what Center for Better Life is. So remember that. Center for Better Life that arrived engaging in what is vocalizing a threat, referencing the entity that was stalking and terrorizing in helicopter in the same video. And then the entity is opening its mouth referencing that demon-possessed agency that's stalking day and night in helicopter, which is the pattern of conduct. Indeed, you're going to see documentation where the Upland Police Department, the entity that's stalking day and night, in concert with the Upland Fire Department, who's crossing path in this video at 9:01 a.m., and you're looking at the identical behavior. Vanessa Drees crossing path, driving a vehicle, and engineered light is moving all across building 1818. That's a terrorizing scene. It's the outward demonstration of demon possession. It is the criminal elements of relevant positioning and light activity. While the audible activity is underway, which is again my voice, the entity is maintaining noise in the engineered light, and it is a terrorizing scene that the people of the state are captured, documented, engaging in on a systematic basis, literally on the freeways, on the roads, on the highways, while I'm sitting on the bus, while I'm inside of any car, while I'm in my work office, while I'm in my apartment. The entity is maintaining it, which is indicative of the private space. The entity is maintaining this environment. And this is where criminal surveillance is underway. And you are literally looking at wizardry. This is some weird hocus pocus. It's demonic. That's what I'm gonna let you know. I'm not even gonna be funny with it. It's entirely demonic. Demon possession is physically invisible. Demon possession is made manifest before your eyes while you look at their behavior, and you're aware of the environment that they're in. And I want to be clear, the entity is engaging in criminal activity on behalf of a government, the public entity. This is a matter of public corruption. And you're looking at the Upland Fire Department in this video at 9:01 a.m. while the light source is directly over me in the same manner that it's here in Los Angeles, California, which is capturing the pattern of conduct because there is no sunlight that's going to be over any of the grounds here. There's no light source that would be outside of my leasing window. There's no light source that would be, sun. There's no sun that would be mutually present for the duration of the day while I'm documenting it in an entirely different region, which is what I did on October 1st, 2021. Okay, that's the light source over me in Upland, California. And you know that because of that light activity that the Fontana Police Department demonstrated, telling the world about their condition and the fact that they are unfit to be in those positions. And they are awaiting a federal prosecution for engaging in terrorism and state surveillance and facilitating criminal activity in concert with the people of the state. Okay, they're engaged in the criminal elements of monitoring. I want to be clear. Gang stalking, group stalking, it's demonic activity. Okay, they're literally demons, but you're looking at demons who are utilizing the vehicles that are the human bodies, the human vessels, people. Okay, the spirit of Satan is invisible. It uses people. All right, and this is how you have that ongoing existence of a system. Vanessa Drees hasn't never met anybody. I'll bet money. I'm not a betting woman, but I'm pretty sure. She knows nobody from the Upland Fire Department, but they're engaging in the identical phenomenon. Okay, this is what ties the system together. Okay, the people of the state are engaging in that which is impossible. It's impossible for it to happen one time. You're looking at it happen on a systematic basis. This is what the state of California is engaging in, and it is federal group stalking and monitoring. Federal group stalking and monitoring is state surveillance. It's occurring everywhere, 24 hours a day, targeting an American citizen in violation of your constitutional and human rights, absent any warrant or probable cause, which, by the way, does not exist in the United States because we are a so-called free country. And I want to be clear, I'm not even going to say so-called, I'm not going to be facetious, because just because the government is engaged in corruption and is not honoring the laws that are on the books, I will honor those laws and enforce those rights that I have. So it doesn't in any way diminish the reality of what this country is about, even if we are exposing what are unprecedented levels, heights of hypocrisy. The laws do exist, and the ability to create more laws and enforce your rights. It exists. Okay. But that is a very clear documentation, and I want you to look at that, and I want you to pay attention to that. That is the system of federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is telling the secrets of the people of the state. The fact that they're not just criminals engaging in what is being exposed. They're criminals that have a specific condition, and this is demon possession, which for such a time as this, it's not to be maintained as a secret anymore. And I am simultaneously exposing and prosecuting. Okay. It is currently 9:13 a.m. You're going to see at what you've always seen. The entity is maintaining a light source. The entity is stalking in helicopter. The entity is engaged in ongoing criminal surveillance. Now I'm in the workplace. It continues while I'm in my private space because I both live and work at the same property. But it would be the same even if I lived somewhere else. I got in my vehicle and drove to my house that somewhere away from Alvarado Gardens. The documentation has already established the entity maintains the light source over me. The entity is engaging in what is maintaining the specific environment, while the people of the state and the state maintain presence in the path wherever the targeted individual goes, 24 hours a day and night. During the day, for purposes of what is massive monitoring and presence in the path and light activity, psychopaths that are demons, all they want to do is pace around you in the engineered light. There's something significant about their ongoing pacing conduct, and this is a psychopath that wants to do this. A psychopath wants to hide the fact that they're crazy and obsessed with you, so hence group stalking. You have many that are moving all around you, and what they have in common is that they're all in the environment, in the engineered environment, and you're paying attention to the light activity. Their movement, their presence in that light all around the targeted individual is group stalking, and it's entirely demonic. Okay, it's very dark, very demented, but it's criminal because the government is doing it, and the government's doing it with the people, and you can prosecute to the furthest extent of the law for that unfathomable violation by one's own government. Okay, unfortunately, this is what's happening in the United States, but nonetheless, it is currently 9:14 a.m. And again, I am, for purposes of maintaining the quality of my evidence, I'm going to refrain from uploading an additional folder and uploading files and videos and images that I already have stored on the Google Drive. Okay. That's what I've been doing for purposes of, you making that juxtaposition. Look at the P.O.C. here and look at the P.O.C. what's going on in L.A. What I'm going to do is publish the link, and you can access the evidence and look at all of the videos, but it's identified by timestamp. So this is and you should be aware of this. This is how and that's based on what the entity is doing. The entity is doing it through the environment, trying to mimic the natural environment. It's a demonic, false illusion. It's not even realistic, but you're going to use that against the entity while it engages in such asininity. It makes it all the more capable of being identified and prosecuted. Okay. So I'm going to refrain from uploading and taking up space because I need to maintain the quality of my evidence and not, for example, make them smaller, the videos smaller, in order to fit them all into the Google Drive. I just want to maintain the quality of that. So that's what I'm doing. And I will be publishing the link so that you can access the folders of evidence that has been long published. Okay. And you're looking at an ongoing, consistent body of evidence, not only with regard to the environment, but with regard to the people of the state, whether they're in a commercial vehicle, whether they're Black, okay, or whether they are, your neighbor. Okay. That's what Vanessa Dries, it does, whether they are a firefighter, because that's what they are. They're driving a fire truck and they're monitoring and stalking and terrorizing me. And you know that it's me, it's personal. That's impossible light activity. It's under what's the light source that remains over me. The entity is following from place to place day and night in helicopter. And at this much of the documentation I captured while I'm homeless. Why is the government interested in stalking and surveilling somebody that is homeless? Now, on the surface, that's exactly what the entity would like to use to suggest that the targeted individual is delusional. I want to be clear, the demon possessed are delusional. Their pattern of conduct shows that. Their ongoing posing of an impermissible threat in the face of a body of evidence that shows exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. They're delusional. That's speaking of malice, and that's relevant before the federal court as to how long they're going to sit in federal prison. Okay, but I want to be clear, that's how I'm going to upload it now. It is currently 9:17 a.m. I remain inside of my my leasing office at 1810. This is relevant to who's going to be prosecuted. This is the people of the state. It's not a coincidence that Todd Speaker's company and his property is a means whereby the state is operating this system. This is how the state operates, and this is how you can see any random fire truck engaging in the same exact identical pattern of conduct. It is the people of the state. It is everyone and everywhere. Now, I'm limiting it to California because this is where I'm at. But I want to be clear. When I traveled to the state of Nevada, when I went to Las Vegas, the pattern of conduct did not stop. And it's not reasonable to suggest that all of a sudden I wasn't being subject to surveillance because I went across state lines. To the contrary, the entity is monitoring outside of the bounds of California. You're looking at the light source. The entity is engaging in a demonic imitation of the natural environment. The light source is remaining over Alvarado Gardens and analyzes. Follow me. The entity is maintaining the light source over Alvarado Gardens for the duration of the day, from the beginning to the end of the day. What is over the sky space in Nevada? You ever been to Las Vegas? It's hot, okay? The sun is blazing, all right? But what's hovering over me here and what's hovering over there? There's only one sun, and I'm going to leave it there. It is currently 9:18 a.m. This is P.O.C.